Welcome to the Dream Architect Life. What a treat we have in store today. I have Mr. Enthusiasm himself, Chris Johnson, and you are about to go on an amazing journey as this gentleman has done so many things in his life and is such a role model for a lot of people about what's possible in life. So, Chris, I am so excited to have you here.
Hey, I'm super blessed and happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. It's going to be a fun conversation, and looking forward to sharing or having you share some of your wisdom with us today. So maybe just to get the audience a little acquainted with you, maybe tell us a little bit about your story and where it all started, and then maybe a little bit about what you're doing today, and then we'll kind of just see where this conversation goes.
That sounds like a plan. Super happy to be here, man. I've had such exciting story. And Brian, you'll get hear some of the stuff that maybe you didn't know, even about as us friends as strategic coach.
Yeah.
But Grew up in Sacramento, California. Married my high school sweetheart. Been together since we were 14 years old. Um, when I was a teenager, man, I was a big basketball player, and I had just this incredible work ethic. I would work every single day. And then my dad said to me, he said, "Hey, Chris, listen, you're going to go to the NBA, but after the NBA, you'll be like, 35 years old, and you still got the rest of your life ahead of you. So what I want you to do is have two dreams." And so that was kind of like my dad. He always encouraged me. He's like, have two dreams. No, not a backup plan. He never even used the word backup plan. Have two dreams. And I was like, what is my second dream? I didn't know what my second dream was until my 16th birthday party. I was a popular kid. I invited the kids at the school to come to my birthday party, and almost like half the school came. And so the garage already filled up. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? I got all these people in the front of the house. And I said, hey, if you have $5, hold it up and walk to the front. And so people started holding up their $5, and I had this line, and I was collecting the $5 as they were entering my home. And I said, man, this feeling, I love this as much as basketball. This is going to be my second dream. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And from there, I caught the bug, Brian. That was at 16. At 17, 18 years old, I saw that homecomings and proms were the only thing for teenagers. So I was the first person in Sacramento to create teen dance clubs for high school students. Then I had one in Elk Grove. I had one in Stockton. I had 21 years old, 21 and up, and I was only 18. I didn't never drank, but I saw the venue. At 19, I had a modeling agency and a talent agency. I put 50 people in the movie Training Day with Denzel Washington, and then just continued to go from there. I had a basketball camp with Tyreek Evans, and I just love building businesses. And fast forward today, I had the pleasure of being on Shark Tank and building a consumer products company, the Rapid Ramen Cooker, the Rapid Mac Cooker, and sold that company in 2023 to the biggest supplier of mac and cheese and a Amazon brand. And while I had that, I also had a talent acquisition company that I've turned into an AI technology company over the last 18 months. So I'm starting all over again. But it has been a fun journey, man, and with tons of highs and lows. But I'm grateful for it all. So that's the little mini movie of where I am today.
Well, I think you have the distinction of being the first guest that's ever been on Shark Tank. So kudos to that. Let me compliment your dad. I think it was so great. I think this is part of the reason people don't have bigger futures is your dad encouraged you to have two dreams. And so that was amazing and kind of got your curiosity. And then, you were thinking about it and then you just came upon it, which is really what happens. So maybe let's chat a little bit about, because you've had like so many dreams come true, and maybe give me your definition of what dreaming big means to you. What's that
Oh
look
my,
like?
oh my gosh. You know what's so crazy, Brian? I have been, and I love the name of the podcast, okay? The Dream Architect Life. I have been a dreamer for such a long time. I have operationalized dreaming. And so what I mean by that, for the last decade, I take between Christmas and New Year's to take myself on a personal retreat and just say, "Hey, Chris, what do we want this year? What do we want in this upcoming year?" And I will just be in a quiet moment and I will write them down. And then after I write them down, I rank them up like how much I really want that. It can't go on the list if it's just nice to have. Like, what am I really dreaming about? And then I would put those into pictures and I create a dream board. But it's not just a happenstance dream board. It's like one of my dreams staring me down and chasing me down. And so as you look over my years, my dream boards came to reality boards. And so you can see all of the things that I dreamt about. Like I am truly living a life of answered prayer. Like I want the things that I want, from like the things that I wanted to do, the things that I wanted to be, to the audacious things. Like I love basketball. I have four beautiful kids. I always wanted to, instead of renting a basketball facility, I had the audacity that my dream was to build a basketball facility for my kids. And Brian, I did that. And
Awesome.
and to see them, have their friends, and there's 40 people playing volleyball and dodgeball and basketball. It's just a testament that with a lot of faith and works, man, those dreams come true. And I think you should never stop dreaming. You should always have those personal retreats to really decide what you want in life. And so I'm a big proponent of that.
I would love to unpack that a little bit more, because one of the things or my goals is give people ideas or action plans on how they can do exactly what you do and follow some path to have their dreams come true. Because, life is sometimes difficult and it's easy to give up. But if we have a defined process that we follow, it's those that take action that get the great results. So um, I love that you write it down, and then it sounds like you prioritize it. Then how do you go about, or what recommendations would you go about on how people would, one, prioritize them, but two, who do they talk to, or how do they go about taking that first step? If they've never created a dream board and they've never done this, but they say, man, I've got some big possibilities in my life I'd love to accomplish. Just expand on that in any way,
Yeah.
shape, or
So
form. Yeah.
so 100%. So one of the things that I do, and I'll give you it in two ways. One ways One way that I do it is I'll create a list of moment goals. Okay,
Mm, okay.
moment goals, right? Because really what we're experiencing, the different joys that we experience, they're moments, right? And so it's like what I'll do is I'll write like the moments that I want to have, the moment goals that I want to have. And I'm looking at one now. And so what I'll do is I'll categorize this. So just on a notepad, you can write it down or type it. What you do is you put moments under $0. See, so
Mm,
many people think that everything costs money, but it's not the case. And so, like, I'm looking at my moment goals for 2024, 2024. One of my moment goals is get down to 250 pounds and keep going. That was a goal of like, I want that moment to be on the scale and do that. Another moment was get to 209 pounds and keep going. And then for me, like once I achieve it, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And I cross it off. Another moment goal is get TJG self-multiplying. I want to have that moment. Um, Remove 90% of stuff off my plate. That was a moment goal, right? And so then you have those, you write all those moment goals of what you want to achieve. Then the next thing is write moment goals under 2,500. What are some of the moment goals that only cost 2,500 bucks? And I put Cabo trip with the girlies. I wanted to take my daughters out to Cabo, a 2-day trip to Cabo. It was amazing. I achieved it. It was in being able to do that. That's a moment goal. That's a dream. And then I have moments under 10,000. I wanted to do irrigation in a walking path. I'm on 7.5 acres. I wanted a walking path as far as my acreage, right? What would it? And so you start to plan and prep, right? Write a plan and make it clear, right? And so then moments under 25,000, moments under 50,000, right? Here's one, moments under 50,000, upgrade to free zone frontier. That's how I met you, Brian, right?
Yeah.
That was a moment goal before I even did it. And so one's under 200, 100,000, 250,000, and I go all the way to 1 million of like things that I want to achieve. And then I'll put stars. 5 stars is like, it's so big to me. Like it's a, man, I really, really want this. And then, reduce the stars all the way to 2, that it's a nice to have. So after I do those moment goals, then I have that list and then I have pictures that I associate with them. So and the way that you can do the pictures before ChatGPT, I would go on Pinterest and I would go to Google Images and I pick the ones that just make me smile. And then I would grab those. Now I do it with ChatGPT and Sora, where I'll just go ahead and type the things and you can actually put yourself in it, enjoying these dreams that you have, right? And
Yeah.
so that's the way that I really operationalize dreaming and vision and being able to bring that to pass.
I absolutely love that. That is so helpful to people. And I would imagine when you first started that, maybe, it took a while to get things going, but I would imagine, tell me if I'm wrong, that when you started, hitting some of these goals, that even motivated you more. Well, I can do that. And I can even get bigger ones. And it's just kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy if you just stick with it.
There's no question. There's no question. It provides you this confidence. It's exhilarating as you're getting close. It's great. It's even the things that didn't even cost anything, where it's like, man, what a win. Um, and what it also does is, Brian, I'm really intentional on like writing my blessings down. Like, in addition to the dreams that I achieve, I'm searching for the great things that are happening in the day.
Yeah.
And so I document like in my blessing list like the wonderful things that happen. Just this year, I'm at 2,200 blessings that I have written down. So you think like psychologically that you have these dreams that you're going after and these moments that you want to have, and then you're also writing down your blessings. What happens is I'm so intentional of having my mindset so high that the afflictions of the day can't touch it.
So good.
So, because what I see is that so many people roll out of the bed on neutral. And when you roll out of the bed on neutral, one email can shatter your whole day. Don't get a flurry of emails and then this happens and something that you were really hoping that deal goes through doesn't go through. You're like done for the day. And so I really am intentional. So many people have blessing amnesia. All of the negative things go to the front of their mind, but they don't realize all of the amazing things they've overcame. They don't realize that they're living in their dream board right now and don't even realize it. And
Yeah.
so what I realize is you have to be intentional, because we're going to have challenges. We're going to have to go through the journey, and there's times where we're going to have to go through the valley. And so I think having these types of tools in that mindset really allow you to have joy regardless of the situation that you're in.
Yeah, I would tell you every human being, their life is better than they think it is, but they're just thinking about the wrong things.
Hey, Brittany here. In case you hadn't heard, our latest book, Dream Architecture, is available for the taking. Think about it like this. What is your biggest, wildest dream of what retirement could look like? Not the dream that your friends have, or your parents maybe had, or your coworkers. Your best dream, the unreasonable one, the one that you might have trouble admitting even to yourself. So that is what the Dream Architecture book is about. Hop on over to dreamarchitecturebook.com so you can start dreaming big today.
So one quick question. It sounds like maybe when you get up in the morning, the first thing you do is you write out the things that you're grateful for. Or do you do it when you wake up and then when you go to bed? Because I've also found if you think about those things before you go to bed, one, you sleep better, but two, things you're thinking about, the solutions come when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, so I have a whole routine, Brian, that I do in the morning
I'd
without
love
fail.
to hear it.
Right, like without fail. Like it's a checklist. My phone is on do not disturb. I don't look at an email. I don't look at social media. I don't do anything, because one thing changes it, shakes, impacts your mind. And so, like, I want to make sure that I do these things first, and then I'll go to war, right? Then I'm ready for the world, right? And so for me, it's different for everyone, but like for me, it's like I seek God first. Like that is like something that is very important to me, of making sure that I'm doing that and having my mind aligned there. And so I write in my blessing list, and then I pray and I cast all of my cares on to him. So many things that beat us up is that we're focused on things that we cannot control. And and so like I got to give it up. I got to surrender those things, cuz I'm pretty good, Brian, but I'm not God, okay? And if I give it to him, I'm not going to micromanage him. Do you hear
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I'll do that, and then I'll call things that are not as though they were. Like, not only do I have those dreams, I'm speaking them of like with confidence as far as that. There's another thing that I do is that I look at the righteous things. Like I look at the things that are going well in my life, and I'm just being thankful for those. And then I look at where I'm going as far as that. And then I'll give you one more, and there's like a series of things that I do is that I have a forecast. I put numbers down on like the business of where I want it to go. And I call it a faith forecast. I have the walk, that this is like just these things happen. I'll walk into this. Like, okay, it's a little bit of profit, but I'll walk in it. It doesn't have to, like, it's just going to happen. Okay. And then what I have is a run. Run is like where, you know what? Okay, it's going to take me some minute. Like these things happen. We can do it. It's doable, right? It's doable. Like, okay, this is my run forecast. And then I have a fly. A fly forecast. It's like, I have no idea how I'm going to have this happen, but it's happened to somebody before. It's bigger than me, but it's not bigger than him. And I'll look at that fly. So I'm always looking at the progress of where I'm going. And so I do all of those things, and then boom, I'm ready for the day. And so like that is like my morning routine as far as that.
Yeah, I love how you've created essentially a really great habit and you set the framework, which creates the right mindset for you to go forward and accomplish all these things. And, it doesn't happen necessarily overnight, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't agree with you more that if anybody would take anything from this conversation, what you do in the morning and setting the right framework for the rest of the day. So the bad stuff that happens, which is going to happen, it's kind of like you put your suit of armor on, it's going to bounce off it, which is what you need. And I think one of the things that I hear a lot is, um, there gets to be difficult things, and then people get fear, and then they let fear over come them. And with all your different successes, um, how would you say maybe way back when, now you've got this perfected, but what advice could you give anybody to help them, when you run into difficult patches or you're fearful that you're not going to accomplish something? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, it's so great, man. And Brian, I'm still utilizing these tools every single day because I feel it. Like
Yeah.
I had to wipe tears from my eyes yesterday. And because I only got half of my seek him first in my morning because I had an early meeting. So I was vulnerable. I didn't have all my armor on, right? And I think there's two things. Like, there's a scripture that says when you go through the fire, you will not be burnt. The flames will not set you ablaze. And so sometimes it's tough being in that fire, man. And it's like the emails, the phone calls are giving you the opposite of what you dreamed about. And it hurts. It feels like I'm suffering. And then it's really double the pain when you're a good person. And you're like, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm a good dude. Like, and it's like, what I realize is that we get the test first and the lesson later. And so it takes a lot of faith and courage to know that I see nothing but smoke. I see nothing but flames around me, but I will not be set ablaze. That you will be okay. Part of this is you're going through this journey not only for you, but you're going through it for someone else to encourage them. And so one of the things that I have to do is like, you got to reach back of like remembering that you overcame something not like this in the past. There's a precedent that you had deliverance in the past. And so it's being able to look on those. And the other thing is I realize is sometimes people, similar to what you said, sometimes we don't realize that we can be so ambitious that we forget that we have everything right now.
Boy, so
Right?
true.
Like right now, no matter what's in that bank account, right? No matter what's your financial situation, no matter what's going on in your relationship right now. Like so many people don't realize that there is a million people that would stand in line to live your life one day. Just one day. Give me all of the issues, give me all of the trials, give me all of those blessings, and let me just live that life one day. They would stand in line to just live your life one day. And so I realized that, okay, no matter how difficult it is, like, man, I have my wife. She loves me. I have beautiful, healthy children that love and adore me. I have a relationship with God. I mean, what more is important than that breath?
Yeah.
What is more, what in your mind that you cannot buy that's more important than those kids and that what? Nothing. So if that's the case, what do you have? Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I have everything, why am I crying? Why am I fearful? Be dauntless? I'm good. I'm blessed. I am good to go. I'm fine. This too shall pass. I'm on the courage part of my journey. And so that's the mindset that I have. I feel fear every day. I feel challenges every day. I get the opposite of what I'm praying for and dreaming of every single day. But I go anyway because I know that at the end of the day, I have everything. And so I'm grateful. So
That's an amazing perspective, and I think we can all learn from that because sometimes you just got to stop and realize where you're at and where you've been. And Dan Sullivan calls it the gap, but we're all a lot further if you compare it to the past than the future. And so I think that's amazing. But one thing that it oozes out of you, Chris, that besides the enthusiasm, is I think one thing that helps make your dreams come true is value alignment. So your dreams and your values, I have to, coincide with one another. How would you define like value alignment as it relates to that? Or how's that been helpful?
yeah, I feel like one of my values is blessed to be a blessing. Like I really want to like make an impact on someone. And so I think that has been a big part of my values. Like a lot of the dreams that I have, as I look at them, they're a lot for others, and a lot of them with my family and the whole nine. So I would say that they tie into that. But I would encourage people. Some people are apprehensive when they start to dream.
Yes, very
And
much.
yeah, they're apprehensive like and it's okay to want what you want. Write it down. It's your life, it's your dreams. You don't have to put all of these filters on the things that you want. They don't have to align with all these different things. Just be free and free indeed and just write them down. And that's like one of the things that I encourage a lot of people to do. Just write down. It's okay to want what you want. I think Dan said something like that. I think he had a book
I think
of
there's a book called Want What You Want.
want
Yes.
what you want.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, well, maybe give us a little update on you sold your business that you had on Shark Tank, and I think you're doing some kind of amazing thing because you went from selling products to creating a technology company. So
Yeah.
maybe share a little bit about what you're doing and who can benefit from what you're building.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in addition to building Rapid Brands, a consumer products company, I've been in recruiting and talent acquisition for 20 years. I used to work for one of the biggest recruiting companies in the world, Aerotech. They're a $5.6 billion company. I was the number one producer out of 3,000 employees. And then in 2006, I said, I want to start my own company. So I started that company. It's been 19 years where I had a in-house corporate recruiting company where we come in as your in-house corporate recruiter and we recruit on all of your positions, help you with retention, and really be able to do that. And so we did that very successfully, arguably even more successful than my consumer products company. And over that 19 years, I got a lot of data of like actually what makes someone interested in a new opportunity, what makes them say yes for a new opportunity. And I started to compile all that data. And I had the idea of like creating a technology company. And so this is about 16 months ago. And that one idea led to another to an entire pivot to building this technology company. And Brian, this has to be one of the hardest things that I did. Like pivoting your entire business to a technology company. And like let me tell you what that means, like to give you some scale. At the height of my recruiting company, I had 124 people. I now have 10. um, you know, what we used to do is more just hands-on service space. Now with my technology, you can just utter what you're looking for as far as in a talent. Say you're looking for a director of marketing and provide the three must-haves. You provide that in the morning. By the afternoon, you're already interviewing candidates. That's how strong our technology is. And so, like right now, we're within 48 hours that we can get you the person that you're looking for and you have an interview with them within 48 hours. And we're getting that now close to the same day. We're already at the beta as far as that. So we want to really transform the way that companies hire and get talent and be able to save them money on those expensive placement fees by like headhunters. And so I built that company in 7 months. I got it to $1 million in ARR. We're at 1.5 now, and my goal is to build it to a $10 million ARR by 2026, and that'll put us at a $100 million valuation. But it's been a journey, like starting over and making payroll, investors, and the whole bit. But uh, it's very clear based on where AI is going that I made the right decision because the type of company I'm building would have disrupted what I had. And so it took a lot of courage to go down this route, and we're helping a lot of companies in the process.
Instead of getting disrupted, you were the disruptor.
100%.
Yeah. And I just think kudos to you. It just shows you the extent of how big you do dream, because you went from really successful, scenarios where, you could just kind of cruise along and life is great, but you see an opportunity, you see something of doing it a better way, and your objective is how do I make that available to others? And that's how these amazing things happen. So I just think that's fascinating. And for anybody that might be interested in, those kinds of services, how would they reach out to you, or what's the best way to learn more about what you're building?
Yeah. So the technology company is called Passive Candidate Pro. And so the reason it's called Passive Candidate Pro is that we found in that data that the best talent, they don't apply to postings, they don't apply to positions. The best talent is invited. And so those are passive candidates. And so what we did is build a technology to be able to reach out to those type of candidates at scale. And so it's passivecandidate.pro.com. And be happy to help anyone out that needs help with finding great talent.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I would also imagine um, you're a big learner. I mean, I always look at it as you're either winning or you're learning.
Yeah.
And so when people sometimes have failures, they kind of go in the dumps and look at that badly. So I would imagine, just from all the success you've had, you look at failure differently. You probably look at it as learning. And is there been one failure or something like a lesson that was created because of something negative that really turned into actually something amazingly positive?
I mean, I could do a whole podcast on that, Brian. I can do a whole podcast on that. Listen, I've had so many uh failures or things that went in a total different direction that I am so diligent in profiting from them. Like I think so many people take the kick in the teeth and then
Yeah.
they just move on. Now I go triage that thing. Like I want to go forensics ballistic on that thing. Like I need to understand what happened. I'm going to extract the learnings from it. Like I go back to the scene, going back to the crime scene. What happened? Why did I make that decision? What could I have changed? And so there's many of them, but I'll give you one that comes to mind. A big one that comes to mind, and since we're talking about hiring, I made a big hiring mistake. Um, I I found a hire, and I could tell you, like, no one can convince me that this person wasn't the best thing since sliced bread. He's the fastest person that I put on a vesting schedule to be a owner in the company. He looked the part. He had the character. Um, had the acumen. Like, he was like the guy that I was going to even take my role as CEO when I come go work above the company. Like, that's how much I love this person. And the mistake that I made is that when you hire a talent, you want to hire a gold medalist. And it's easy to have a silver that comes in that says, hey, they convince you that they can be gold. Let me come to your company and practice on your company to go to the trials. And having someone practice on your company is expensive. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And bronze medalists, those are the ones that have no business even being in the organization, but you settle. This person that I hired, he was a gold, Brian, but he was gold in the long jump. And the role that I had was a sprinter. And that's the miss that I made, is that I looked at his background and I said, he's a gold medalist. He can do it, but he was not a sprinter. He didn't know how to take a company from zero to hero. He was great at managing big billion-dollar corporations, but he wasn't good at like being able to do that. And he's still an amazing person. And I'm like, so what happened is, like, I not only made that mistake, I was so stubborn in my decision because I loved the guy that I ignored all of the red flashes, because no longer that I just want to win, I wanted to win with him. And so the moral of that story is that what the learning that I extracted is that I was addicted to potential. And being addicted to potential lost me millions. The machine, the cash machine that I built, broke to the point where I had to not only do his position, I had to go all the way back into the business. And it was so painful because I was addicted to potential. And I have the extreme ownership in that you don't have someone that has a gold medal in the long jump to be your Olympic gold medal sprinter.
Yeah, that's such great advice. Yeah, I think we all probably have a story like that to share, and I think the moral of the story is, if you're going to get kicked in the teeth, make sure you learn something positive from it and not have it happen again.
100%, 100%.
I would imagine you're also a big reader, and I love your energy, your positivity, just how you have your outlook in life. Would you recommend a book or two that, if somebody's kind of struggling with that maybe is helpful to, frame things a little bit different? Anything you've read recently, or just an oldie but a goodie?
You know what? I have a couple of.
I saw all the books, so I thought that would be a good question.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I'll say in mindset, like, Gap in the Game, incredible book as it relates to that. I think that the key thing is, so many times as ambitious entrepreneurs, we put ourselves in a state of never satisfied. We don't celebrate wins. You're always going to the next thing, and you can just be in a gap. And what you could live a life of being in the gap is a lack of joyfulness. It's a lack of gratitude for what you have accomplished as far as being able to measure backward. So Dan Sullivan, I would say that's a tremendous book for that.
No,
Uh,
I totally agree. That's a great choice. So, um, well, I could chat with you all darn day, Chris. This is amazing, and I have picked up some really timely tips that have been really helpful to me personally. So I want to thank you for that. And I will be listening to this a couple different times because your year-end ideas are really going to be helpful to me. But maybe a couple other questions before I let you go. Is there, and you've just given, amazing tidbits, but is there one piece of advice that you would give to our listeners to help them on their journey that maybe you haven't mentioned yet?
yeah, I would say there's so many people that, especially entrepreneurs, but I think anybody in general, but I'll definitely speak to as far as entrepreneurs. Part of your job is to stare at the abyss and think of what can be. And it's the tolerance for uncertainty is like really can be really painful. There's a suffering of not knowing, man. Brian, I just like not knowing what's going to happen. And so I just really want to encourage that entrepreneur, that person, that executive, that person that has a goal that they're going after, is that to give them peace in the middle of that uncertainty, that all things work together for your good, that you are going to make it, you are going to get there. If you haven't been there yet, you're in the courage part of your journey. So just stay faithful. Be in that courage part of your journey. You're going to be there's going to be a top place where you're in that confident journey. You're in the mountaintop and you're screaming down to the people below in that courage valley that there's milk and honey up here. And so you do it, go in that courage part of the journey. You are going to make it if you don't quit. And so that's what I would like to leave with, that as far as encourage those people on that. Look at that that abyss and declare what shall be. Stay confident. You're in the courage part of the journey, but you're gonna make it. So that's
That's I love it. I love it. I think one of the other things that people do is they get discouraged too quickly or they don't have the right time frame in mind. They need to get it done tomorrow when in reality it's doable, but just set the right parameters to give yourself time to hit the whatever the objective is.
100%, a hundred
Yeah.
percent.
Well,
Totally agree.
yeah, the last question I always like to ask is, what haven't I asked you that I should have?
Mm, that's a great question. Man, this is such a great interview, man. You've gotten so much out of me. What haven't you asked that you should ask? Wow, I'm stumped on that one. I mean, I think you've asked me so much. You got my goals of what I'm going after. You got my origin. Uh,
Well, I stumped I stumped the great Chris Johnson. This is
you know what?
amazing.
I'll give you one that you didn't ask. I just thought about one.
I love it. I knew you'd come up
Yeah.
with one.
What is one of my biggest awarenesses
Ooh,
that
great.
I have received in the last 30 days?
That's a great one.
Okay. And I'll give you one. Is I'm very, very ambitious. You talked about the dream. Like I told you, I've operationalized that. Um, and so sometimes you can be so in the future of what you're going after. And there was a deal that didn't go through. And I just knew it was mine. I declared it was mine. It was mine. And it was going to be a big deal. Tons of revenue, tons of profitability. Like I was certain it was mine. And when it didn't happen, I was heartbroken. And usually I'm pretty good at hiding it. But my daughter, 17 years old, okay, she's in the kitchen and she could see that I'm not myself. And she goes, Dad, you okay? And I'm like, I'm good. She goes, Dad, you know, one of the things that I realized that about you that I want to tell you is that, Dad, you go after all of these big things and these big goals as if it is oxygen. And you're like, if you don't have it, you can't breathe. And I don't know why you do that, because if you look at mom in us, you have oxygen all around you. And I go, and she's like, Dad, what you should treat all of those deals and all those things and all the additional things that you want to go after, treat that as extra and be grateful for your oxygen. That is one of the awareness that I have.
All right, that's a drop the mic moment right there. Wow. I don't know how you would end a podcast with anything better than that, Chris. So you saved the best for last. I absolutely loved this conversation we've had, and I can't imagine one human being that listens to this that isn't energized by what you said, how you said it, and the enthusiasm you bring to life. So you talked about a lot of negative things that happen, but your overall life is so successful. We can all learn from that. And I just personally want to thank you for giving us the message and the steps to take to get from not having any dreams to having your dreams come true. So thank you so much, Chris. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much, man. My sincere pleasure. I appreciate you.
All righty. Talk to you soon. And
Okay, talk to you
we'll
soon.
see everybody on the next episode of The Dream Architect Life. Take care.